Good morning, everyone. What an inspiration, what an honor to be here. This is probably my fifth time working with Judy and Aaron and all the wonderful people here. And every time I just leave feeling like there is hope for this planet, and it's something that's very important to all of us who work in this field. So today I'm actually going to speak a little differently than I have in the past. A lot of what you've heard so far is around toxic chemicals, around food, trying to reframe the way we think about chemistry in our world. You've actually also heard from someone about government and the corruption that can happen when you've got industry and government working too close together. But I have to tell you that for my experience, I have found government to be the perfect fit for me. I was a scientist. I was going to get my PhD and be a professor, and I realized that I want science to change the world. I don't want to work in a lab. And I tried a lot of different careers. I tried teaching. I tried working in a science museum. And it wasn't until I found local government that I found the right place for me, the place where I find deep integrity and deep willingness to take risks to heal the planet. Now, granted, that's not going to be every government institution, but where I have been, I've worked for the city of Santa Monica, I worked for the state of California, and now San Francisco. And in every single place, I felt like the people I worked with had tremendous integrity. Doesn't mean politics isn't there, doesn't mean industry isn't trying everything they can. I found a place for me to express my passion for the planet. And what I want to talk today is about something that's coming up. So on December 1st, I'm going to be getting on a plane and I'm going to Paris. And I'm really excited about that. Yes. Because in Paris right now, as all of you know, you wouldn't be plotting, is going to be these climate talks. You also know that it's going to be a very intense time. It's going to be a time where we're thinking very deeply about our relationship to the earth, our relationship to people. And I am going there out of passion for the planet and passion for the people of the planet. And I want to talk today about how do we get the people of this planet on board? How do we communicate outside of this room? Because we're the converted. Although even, some of you in your remarks, some of the finalists said, well, I didn't know I was a converted until I became part of this group. But we've got to get outside of this room. And how are we going to do that? And what are the messages that we're going to use? So in San Francisco, we are a city that thinks of ourselves sometimes as a member state of the European Union. We like to look what everyone else is doing and take the best of it. We love to take risks. We feel very deeply that we have, as Stacey Malkin said, an opportunity and an obligation to heal this planet. So we know there's a huge problem out there, and cities are at the heart of it. It turns out that cities represent only 2% of the land mass of the entire world, but we are 70% of the carbon emissions. 2% of the land mass, 70% of the emissions. And now, for the first time in the world's history, more people live in cities than they do outside of cities. So if we're going to heal this planet, the city is ground zero. The city is where we need to look at. And government entities, local governments like San Francisco, understand that opportunity to lead. So we know the consequences of climate change. This is the Bay Area. Here's San Francisco right here. Obviously, we're covered on three sides. We're surrounded on three sides by water, and if you look at that, there's not a lot of green. It's a lot of pavement. So we've got a problem in San Francisco when we think about climate change. We've already got a problem. King tides are already flooding our city. This is an image of snowpack in 2013. 2013 was actually a fairly dry year for California. We get most of our water from snowpack. But that was okay, that was a snowpack. A year later, that's what it looks like, 2014. 2015, January, looked just the same. So climate change is here. We don't have time to be studying it to death. It's what are we going to do about it? So this is, in Paris, this is what's going to happen. So in Paris, you're going to get all these negotiators at the table, and they're going to be talking in super wonky language. They're going to be talking about the fact that we need to reduce our carbon emissions 80% by 2050. 80% below 1990 levels by 2050. And there's another frame that's coming out, this under 2. You're going to hear a lot of under 2. What that means is we've got to try and keep warming to under 2 degrees Celsius. The problem with this kind of dialogue is it doesn't mean anything to anybody outside that room. If I go, we want to be 80% below 1990 levels by 2050, everyone just goes, what? And my mayor said, what? You know, you don't know what you're supposed to do differently, right? What are you supposed to do with that information? That's not the right frame. It's not working when we talk that way. We need a different way of talking about climate change. And so in San Francisco, we've developed a different frame, a different lens by which we're going to try and motivate everyone to take action. Because there's no way we're going to heal this planet if it's just the people in this room. And so instead, what we've developed is a campaign we're calling 0, 50, 100 Roots. 0, 50, 100 Roots. That's San Francisco's climate action strategy, and we're taking it around the world. So what does that mean? That means zero waste. We've got to get to zero waste. We've got to stop sending things to landfill, and not to incinerators either. And you guys already know that. A lot of the Project Green Challenge challenges were around getting to zero waste. When you send things to landfills, you just produce methane. It's not highest and best use, and it's incredibly carbon intensive. 50% sustainable transit. We've got to get people out of their cars. We've got to get people out of single occupancy vehicles, and when they drive a car, they need to be an electric car. So these are the goals that we're setting for ourselves in San Francisco. We're going to get to zero waste. We've got to get people out of their cars. And 100 is 100% renewable energy. We've got to improve the energy efficiency of existing buildings, and then we've got to get to renewables, get off of coal, certainly, but get off of natural gas. That's a lot harder thing. People are promoting natural gas as a great alternative to coal. Yes, but it's still very carbon intensive. We've got to get to 100% renewables. We have a path for doing that in San Francisco. We've got paths. We've got a way to get to 0, 50, 100. Now, the thing that I find the most unbelievable, cutting edge hope for the planet is this one, Roots. Turns out, from some studies that have just been published at UC Berkeley, that when you take compost from our Zero program and you spread it on the fields of California, that the carbon capacity of the soil increases 100-fold. So when we think about the CO2 in the air, when we think about what we can do, I think of 0, 50, 100 as how we do less bad in the world. Roots is how we heal the planet. Roots is how we pull CO2 out of the air. Because right now, when you look at these, there's something called a carbon sink, where nature has developed a carbon cycle. Carbon emitters, like plants and us, carbon sinks would pull CO2. Carbon sinks are traditionally the forests and the oceans. Well, the ocean is so saturated with CO2, right now it's just becoming more acidic. The forests are wonderful and we need to plant trees, but in San Francisco, not such a great opportunity for us. Instead, an untapped sink is the soil of the planet, and we're killing our soils. Our soils are dead. There's nothing living in them. When you put compost on soil, and this is documented by UC Berkeley scientists, you improve the water holding capacity, you improve the productivity of the plants that are there, and you drastically increase the amount of carbon that that soil holds. So I'm going to Paris to spread that message. I'm going to Paris to talk to those negotiators to say, yeah, it's important that we think about energy. It's important that we think about our built environment. But we've got to think about our soils. The state of California is with me on this. They have a Healthy Soils Initiative. So the governor and the governor's staff are with me. We're going to go there and spread the message. So 0, 50, 100 Roots. That's the language we're using in San Francisco, and we're spreading the word. We're taking it anywhere we can. This is the mayor. This is our giants and our warriors, our teams. We're getting our sports teams. On the left are our department heads. I'm challenging every department to think about how they're doing on 0, 50, 100 Roots. That's this is the head of the port. This is building inspection. I'm saying it's everyone's job to think about this. We even went to the Vatican. Our mayor went to the Vatican with all the cities. The Pope understands the important role of cities. And our mayor went there and told the Pope about 0, 50, 100 Roots. And I'm going to be going to Paris. But it's got to get deep. It's got to get deep. It's got to get to the people who are going to grow up knowing that this isn't just some crazy vision. This is the way we live our lives. So we bring it to the youth, and I bring it to you. Because you guys are the ones, whether you're the finalists, the alumni, the partners, it's everyone in this room who's going to take these messages to heart. They're going to lay it on the line for love. They're going to challenge the political reality. They're going to take it to businesses and change the way we formulate. And all of us together are going to take these messages, and we're going to heal the planet because we believe in what we're doing, and we understand how important it is to get this message outside of this room. So thank you for letting me be a part of your journey.